it's a smart move by Microsoft.
Yeah.
But I feel like Microsoft is sometimes they're very stingy with how they fucking release stuff. So
What do you mean though?
because like back in the days with Xbox 360, obviously they might not be doing that now, but they were very exclusive on their game drops
Yeah,
and
yeah,
what was
Halo
on their
and
monthly
stuff.
passes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
they decide they want to go with that route now, especially with them acquiring things like Call of Duty, Diablo, and all that stuff, it's going to be a hit or miss because in this generation of crossplay is huge. For
Yeah.
them to give up on crossplay is like I think they'll lose a lot of fans. Like their fan base will be like lowered.
But
Well,
apparently, the CEO fully came out and said that he's not gonna limit the games that they're buying on Activision to just Xbox. They'll be
Yeah.
available on PlayStation.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what I'm saying. If that's
but
the
the-
route they're going, then that's fine.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just think crossplay is pretty big.
yeah, but the other thing as well is that Diablo is really not anything else. It only recently went on to PlayStation. World of Warcraft and Warcraft have always been on PC. StarCraft has always been on PC. Overwatch has always been on PC. Like I don't think it's on, well, it's on consoles as well. But Blizzard in itself is really more of a PC, uh, like
Platform.
yeah, 100%. Like they're more of a PC platform. Like they've been making games for the PC for such a long time. It's always been on the PC, and it's only been recently where it's kind of been like going out of their way to go into like mobile and uh, like consoles and stuff like that. And I don't think that they're going to stop doing that. The only thing that's really going to be different is that they're probably going to have a little bit better direction because the guy from Activision, I can't remember his name right now.
From Activision.
Yeah, like the CEO,
I'll look it up.
Bobby Kotick. Like he's been an issue within the company, like within Activision itself,
Yeah, you're right.
and Blizzard, and along with the allegations that are going on right now, the sexual allegations and shit like that that's been going on. The only thing I can really see is that with Microsoft now getting them, it's like Bobby has someone to report to almost, and
All right.
the chain of command kind of like now it's like, okay, well, Bobby is here, but now someone is right above him, and even though he's still saying CEO, he's still doing all of those things. I just kind of wait to see like how does Microsoft influence what he does and influence the actual Activision and Blizzard in itself. Like maybe Activision stops making games that come out every year, like COD, and start making games that come out every few years
Oh,
that are like much better and higher quality. Like COD is kind of like always the same.
platform.
Yeah, like 1+1 always. Like it's
Yeah.
never going to be changing into something else. But now with Microsoft, we could see Activision actually like using the talents towards something that's a little bit bigger because they have really good talent. Like with Blizzard, huge talent. With like Activision, huge talent, and it's been drowning for the past couple of years.
So do you, I guess, here's the question is, do you think there's going to be, I guess this is a question that I had. Is there going to be any improvement from this collaboration from Activision point of view? Like, because Microsoft is purchasing them, do you see
I
any
would think
improvement?
so. I think what Shivam said earlier today, it also increases their budget to do whatever they want. So maybe they have projects that they've always wanted to start, but they just couldn't get the ball rolling on that. With Microsoft backing them up with all that stuff, they have a huge budget now. They could probably pursue some of that stuff.
Mhm.
The other issue now is that before they're like, okay, if you have a project going on, you're going to Bobby. You're like, yo, Bobby, I have this project that I want to be doing, and like, what do you think? And if Bobby is not a guy who wants to be going out of what they've been making, their bread and butter, he's going to say, no, fuck that shit. We know COD's going to be doing well. Just keep making COD. Now they have someone else to answer to. Like, so now they go to Blizzard and be like, hey, I'm sorry, to Microsoft, be like, hey, like I have a really new great idea for a new IP. What do you guys think? Now it's someone else making the shot, someone else who's calling things and being like, yeah, you know what, that's a great IP, that's a great IP idea, and right now, like sure, things like COD and all the other games may not be going exclusives. That doesn't mean that they won't have exclusive games in the future that are
Yeah.
different from COD or uh, Overwatch or any of those other things that they have right now.
So you guys do foresee an improvement coming, potentially.
100%.
Yeah.
I definitely think that like with um, with Microsoft taking over, like Microsoft is one of those companies where they really like to have good games that come out, and you can see that with Halo before Bungie left. Like Halo 1, 2, like were always top tier. Like even Halo 3, and then when you have like the new company, which I think 343, when they came in, like they were struggling at that point to like make another game. Like now they made Halo Infinite, and it's been fucking like amazing. It's been everyone's been loving it, right? And it's just one of those things where now you can kind of see that with Microsoft that you're going to be getting more stability in their
Yeah.
games.
So I have this the screenshot that I found on Twitter. It kind of shows the 2021 top video games, and you can
Yeah.
clearly see Activision has 2 of the top 3. I just want to give a shout out to MLB The Show 21. I'm a baseball fan.
I had a feeling this guy's gonna be like, look at that. Just read that for me one time.
It's above soccer, so just a shout out there. And it's above 2K.
I mean, everything.
Yeah,
should be
that's
up
crazy.
on software.
I didn't
That's
think that was gonna
insane.
be
Think about that,
2K.
bro. Baseball is above 2K and FIFA. We made it. We made it.
There's actually a lot of people who actually play the show.
Yeah,
Like, people
100%,
sleep
bro.
on it. They just think that the go-to is 2K or even like Madden and stuff. Like,
Yeah, agreed. Like I'm just surprised about that. But going back to Activision, like it would be a real blunder if Microsoft starts to say, "I'm gonna just have this exclusively just for Xbox." That would
Yeah.
just be a big blunder. Like that is insane. Those numbers literally, like those top 3 of the top 2 of 3. That's insane.
Jesus, I'm surprised Mass Effect Legendary Edition even made it on this list.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
that's kind of crazy. I mean, like, so I think the thing is that it will never be exclusive to Xbox because Microsoft is a PC centered.
But you can understand that naturally people are going to have to know or want to know if that is going to end up being an exclusive to Xbox. Because, like Martin was saying earlier, right? They've kind of done that before, where they've done that with Halo. It's just exclusive to just Xbox. So people are going to naturally have that question, like, are we going to have to grab an Xbox now?
Literally.
Yeah, like it's gonna be a natural question for some people, and I think it's a big deal. I think that, like, I guess here's the next question for you both: where does Sony go from here? What do you guys think is going to happen there?
Bro,
That's a good question. Honestly,
Is there a response?
I have a really long-winded answer, so I'm going to let Martin go first. And
Cool.
then-
to be honest, like I'll just be shooting the shit here with Sony because I will not know what they're gonna think. So I mean, you go for it.
Okay. So Sony has been in a really powerful position in the past couple of years. Like, especially with the PS4 did it so fucking well that they were able to create a really strong base for themselves. The issue was when things like crossplay was going on and things were like, hey, you know, let's communicate with each other. Let's actually have games where everyone can play together. Sony was like, nah, I'm good. There's nothing for me to gain from it. Like, I don't care, right? And it was their right because they were at that point kings, and they could at that point make those rules. Be like, yeah, no, I don't need this. How does this benefit me in any way? It didn't. But now, Microsoft has been going out of their way and kind of like being that middleman between, like, hey, you know, I want to deal with Nintendo, so they reach out to Nintendo, and like they have things going on with Nintendo. They're like, okay, you know, I want to have more acquisitions this year. Like in the past 1 year, they've had so many acquisitions that were like absolutely like amazing acquisitions, and they're not like buying these companies out of like, yeah, I just want to buy this company. It's very well played acquisitions that they're doing for their company. And what this is now doing, like, and once again, I do not blame them for having exclusives. I actually think that they should, because Sony, and I'm a huge Sony fan. Like I have everything from fucking Sony, like everything possible from Sony,
Right.
and I think that they need to be kind of like brought back down, right? The issue is that, and this is what
Keep in
we're
mind, not to cut you off, Shiv, but they're having their own Game Pass style coming out soon.
it's never going to be as good as Xbox.
Oh, really? Okay.
The issue with Xbox and like the really the whole problem here and why it's never going to be as top tier as Xbox is that Xbox on Game Pass Ultimate you got Halo on day one, you got Forza on day one, you got like all of these things that are coming out that Sony's like people paying for on day one, right? So in order for Sony to do something like that, even for this PlayStation, they're going to be seeing a lot of their costs go down. But with Xbox, they don't have to worry about that. Oh, you want to play Xbox Live on your phone? Great. You have Xbox Game Pass on your phone. You want to have Xbox Game Pass on your PC? Great. You have Xbox Game Pass on your PC. And so now what ends up happening is that they don't just have one market. It's not just, oh, yeah, it's an Xbox Game Pass. Nope. There's a PC Game Pass. There's a phone Game Pass. And in order for Sony to beat that, Sony will have to be extremely outgoing and like putting every single new game that comes out from their end free on their Game Pass,
which they'll never do. They will never do that.
It's like they may like once in a while drop in new games and they may have like games that come out, but there's absolutely no guarantee that they'll be putting their AAA games on. Like I don't see God of War Ragnarok going on there. Right,
No,
like it's just one of those things where Xbox understands that hey, like our biggest money that's coming isn't from our game sales, it's from our software sales. And there's that software is Xbox Game Pass. That software is fucking great. It's strong. It's everyone wants it. Like I got an Xbox because of Xbox Game Pass. You know, like I don't have games on it that I want to play right now, but I saw the Xbox Game Pass. I knew like there were games that I will want to be playing in the future, and there were some games that I want to play right now, like Forza and Halo. I went and bought the Xbox because I realized like you know what, this is never going to be a bad investment. 3 years down the line, when we have games that come out that are exclusive to the Xbox, I'm going to be getting them technically for free, all right? Like,
yeah,
I pay $80 a game and. Like if I show you my collection, like I have a budget for every year for the amount of games I buy, and I buy 10 to 12 to 15 games a year.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah, and I play them all, and that's because
I don't doubt that.
Yeah, and
where you find the time for that, I have no idea either.
Like a lot of the times, I get sucked into one or two games, and like I'm playing them simultaneously, and like it's just one of those things where it kind of goes to that. But I also time my purchases, so. Like when I was playing Persona 5, like I knew when it was coming out, I knew when my next game was coming out, so I timed how long I had to play, and then I get my next purchase, right? But not every purchase that I get is going to be like finishing it all the way through, but I finish at least 50% of the games, right? And that's the same thing with Xbox, and now it's just like, you know, I'm paying, I think it's like $180 for the year. And I can
pick a lot.
It's a lot, man.
It is, but it's also when you look at it, that's 2 games. And there are people who buy like if you think I buy a lot of games, I know people who buy games literally like 4 to 5 games a month.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
So here's how I want to wrap this up really quickly. Which gaming company would you like to see Sony counter this with? And I'll start off. Square Enix.
Square Enix is never going to be bought.
Square Enix is a monster entity. For them to sell to Sony, no way. I don't see that happening.
Square Enix has great exclusives, but Sony Square Enix will never be bought because Square Enix understands its
value.
It's value. And like the biggest example is that someone from Square Enix, like I think one of the teams or like Square Enix itself, made a game on Apple game thing. Like what's it called? Apple Arcade. Mm-hmm. The only people who are going to be able to play that game is people who have Apple products. No
Yeah.
one else is going to be able to play the game. But
Yeah.
but Square Enix realizes what they're worth, and they realize like how much their games are worth. They will never be bought by Sony, and as much as I will love them to, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So do you guys think there's anyone off the top of your head, like just to name some companies, Ubisoft, Epic Games, iTech Art?
Is Nordic still around? Because I know THQ went down under, and then Nordic bought them. They're the ones who ran Darksiders.
Oh,
That was a good set of games
Darksiders
too.
was
But
a
I don't
sick
think
game.
Sony would even attempt that. Not from Nordic.
Let's see if Nordic Games is still around. But is that's who you would pretty much hope for?
I mean, I just want to see Darksiders come back.
Honestly, same
That
man.
thing went down
That
the
story
drain.
was good. That was such a great story.
I think the first two were good. I played the third one. I wasn't really a huge fan of it.
The first two was War and
then War and Death, man.
yeah, War and Death
So
was
good.
sick.
And then Wrath was in the Fury was in the third one. And then there was a new one that came out for the Switch. It was called Darksiders Genesis. That was with War and Strife, but like it was it looked like what was that game? League of Legends. It was very League of Legends like, and I was like, I'm not really about it. I don't
Shit, do
know.
you
I'm
think
pretty
there's
sure Nordic is still around. I don't think they
they are,
merged anywhere.
They
Yeah.
are. They're
Because
still around.
When
But they're called THQ Nordic.
No, THQ, yeah, because THQ went under. Or no, hold on. Who went under and then they got bought out? I swear THQ was the one that got bought out.
Yeah,
And
I thought, you know what? We're gonna have to research.
You know what?
No.
There are a couple of really good companies that they could buy, like WB Games and Blueprint Games.
Blueprint is good.
Blueprint's good.
I think right now what they need to do is they need to start acquiring smaller entities that can make more different
They're-
games.
Yeah, they can make good games. It's not about capturing a huge name. You know what I mean? It's like if you can get a small company who does the job right, then you can just work from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I
100%.
don't know about that one, man. Because think about it, like if you have a big platform like Call of Duty going off, like if they're going off the market right now, like Sony's gonna have to compete with that. Because even
but
last
see,
year they
like,
did the same thing.
If you look at Sony's IPs, okay, they have God of War, they have Spider-Man, they have Ghost of Tsushima,
Yeah.
they have Horizon,
Mm-hmm.
they have Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
That's their biggest names right now, as of now, anyway.
What else do they have? Square Enix has like a lot of exclusives with them, so they have like exclusivity with Square Enix itself, right? But tell me like a small game company that's with Sony that's gone big, and the perfect example is like with Xbox. There's a game called Ori and like the Will of Wisps Secret Forest. And that game is fucking amazing, and Sony people love it. Sony people are like they're crazy for it, and they've re-released it like once or twice, and it's gone sold out like instantly. It's those type of games that are also doing really well, right? And the issue is that not everyone has the time to play Ghost of Tsushima or God of War or Spider-Man or any of those things. Like you need to have time for those, and if you don't have the time, you're not going to be playing it. But something like Ori, which is a 20-hour game, 25-hour game, it's an easy game to play. You just sit at home and you like go through it really quickly. Those type of games, if Sony starts picking them up more and they have more of those type of games that are coming out, you can see like it doesn't have to be a AAA, but it will still benefit them a lot.
But Sony has games like that, man. But they're more catered to the younger crowd. Like Sony still owns games like Crash Bandicoot. They own Spyro, like Crash Team Racing. They own all those guys, right? I mean, it was under Naughty Dog before. I think Naughty Dog merged with Sony. So, but they have those games. Even Ratchet and Clank is not a heavy, like how many hours is in Ratchet and Clank?
I don't think it's that much. I think
not
it's
I
around
would
like
say
crazy.
probably 35.
40?
Yeah,
40?
like
Yeah.
they have those games and they can cater to that. So like even them acquiring a small, a few companies that make like indie games there's some good indie games out there that are huge. People love indie games now. So I think Sony could go that route and still make a killing.
Yeah,
Well, it'll be interesting to find out what they end up doing, though. That's for
Honestly.
sure.
Yeah, it's going to be weird for sure, because the issue is that they thought that they were going to be for such a long time, they did think about their future, right? And I'm worried that they're going to pull a BlackBerry. They're going to be like, yo, yeah, we don't need this, we don't need that, and then they're just going to fucking drown, right? Like, and that's what happened with BlackBerry, right? Like when smartphones started coming up, BlackBerry thought like its software was amazing and that no one's going to go away from BlackBerries, but Apple stole everything. Apple was like, yeah, no, like our phones are much better, and they were much better than Blackberries, and Blackberries just drowned. They tried to catch up so many times, they just weren't
Martin
able
would
to
beg to
get
differ.
the thing.
Martin would beg to differ that iPhones are much better.
No, I'm talking about two Blackberries.
I know,
We're
I
not
know.
even going to include the other one in this. There's no point. We're not starting that debate or war. We'll do that in another episode, bro.
All right, well, listen, guys, I appreciate you guys hopping on this call. It was very last minute because we saw this deal online and we wanted to just have a discussion. So I appreciate you gentlemen hopping on. And
Of course.
until next time, this is going to be Dicing It Up, signing off.
I don't have a drink.
It's all good.